Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today I am reviewing something new. This is the recent Bandai 30-minute missions Alto ground type brown colors. So I think it's been about a year or two, I think it's been more than a year since the 30-minute mission kits came out. And as far as I know, their basic concept was that it's a simple and cheap kit where you can finish building the kit within 30 minutes. Without any special, doing. So basically just straight build. So yeah, and most of these concepts of these mechs were basically mass production mobile suit, not mobile suit, mass production type or design mechs, and this was definitely right up my alley. However, at the time there was a lot of stuff that I had to review, a lot of stuff going on with my life, so I didn't have much, I wasn't able to pay attention to these kits. But now, after like more than a year, they have grown a lot, to the point where recently Bandai has announced a third faction. Yes, a third faction, which is like based on a samurai design. So before that there was the Alto and Porta Nova, which was basically the two factions, the Porta Nova being the alien, attackers that came through a portal, while these Alto series are basically the Earth Federation things where to fight off the aliens. So this is my first time actually trying these 30-minute mission kits, and for this one it took me a little bit more than 30 minutes because I had to sand off a few parts, and then yeah, so it did take me slightly longer, but I can get the idea. Alright, so let's get on to the review. As I mentioned, this is my first time trying these, so I don't have any other 30-minute mission kits, but after trying this, I definitely want to get more. The basic ones, some of the Porta Novas, you get the idea. Alright, so as usual, let's go over the components. So first of all, what you get, of course, is obviously the Alto ground type in its brown color. So as far as I know, they tend to release these in multiple colors. For this one, I believe there's only two of them. This one is the brown, the other one being a more dark, I think it's a more dark brown color, or kind of almost close to like olive brown. So you get the idea, or olive green. So here's the main mech itself, and then here are the components. So you don't actually get many components for this mech itself. So we get its small partner unit called I think these are called the Roys. So these are like small spider support unit robots. Pretty interesting concept, and they do have actually there is a way to use these as well, but I will be demonstrating that later. And then here we have some parts. So these parts are technically used on the kit, however, these are not actually stored in the kit, so you have to basically, store them somewhere else, and when you decide to use these, you have to take them out. And finally, for the weapon wise, so the kits for the 30-minute mission is that unlike Gunpla or certain mobile suits, they don't come with multiple weapons. They usually come with one or two weapons, and that is pretty much it. So here we have the bazooka. So very basic looking bazooka, kind of reminds me of the rocket launcher from the 08 MS team. Pretty standard bazooka. You can turn the backside up and down depending on your preference. We have the handle that can move forward and backward for easier gripping, and then we have a forward handle that can move side to side if you want to do the double hand pose. And if you don't like the bazooka, you can always pop off the back section and make it look like a regular gun. And that's pretty much it for the weapon. And let's talk about some leftover pieces. Since this is based on the regular Alto mech, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to keep saying mobile suit and mech, but still. So you still do get the components to make a regular brown sand color Alto. So here we have the original leg parts. These are the original leg parts, much more smaller than the ones we're using at the moment. And here we have the original feet. Pretty standard feet if you ask me. And then we get the original faceplate without the visor. So yeah, currently this is the regular Alto design as far as I can tell. However, when it comes to this one, it actually has a much more beefier head and has a smaller, visor, has a much more smaller visor that shows up. So interesting design there. Of course, according to the manual, which the 30-minute mission kits do actually have a story on them, this is supposed to be a dust-proof mech as well, so which is why I can kind of see they kind of reduce the size of the visor. And then here we have I think, as far as I know, based on the manual, these are the original side skirts that they use on the regular Alto kits. And then these are the original knee pads, or knee armor. And we get a sticker decal sheet with full of big and small numbers, black and white. So definitely I can just slap a lot of 426 on these mechs if I wanted to do so. Alright, so let's get on to the review. So let's see what we got. So let's start with the head as usual. Definitely loving the design. Definitely has that mass production type design, which for those who still don't know, I am a big fan of gyms or mass production types, especially Federation mobile suits. So this one is right up my alley, as I mentioned. So the head can go down that much, up that much. That's actually a lot thanks to that extra second joint there. And then we can go 360 on the head. So as far as I know, most of these Alto kits, they always come in two colors. I mean, they are composed in two colors. So just because we got a sand brown color doesn't mean every single part is sand brown. They actually give you a alternative brown color to, to make it more, easy on the eyes. Because if it's just a pure one color kit, that sometimes becomes a problem when you look at it, but this one has no problem. So we've seen that. Now we have the backpack. The backpack is going to get in the way in terms of articulation, but still, let's take off one here and see what we got. So these are tank treads. So there's two ways to attach these onto the kit according to the manual, but once again, these kits, another main thing about these series is that they have these multiple holes and pegs going on here, so it's really up to your imagination on how to modify or how to customize that. So it's really up to you. But I'm mostly gonna, when it comes to reviews, I'm gonna mostly follow the instruction manual. So here we have the tank treads. They don't actually move, but they have really nice detail going on here. Now with them on the back, the way how they connect is to a single peg. Usually you would think that there would be two pegs so it doesn't move around, but yeah. So with the thing on the back, it will sometimes get in the way in terms of rotation, but if you know your way around, you are able to go 360. You are able to go 360, and the shoulder armors are pretty interesting. It's kind of uncommon build, because usually in terms of Gunpla, we would have the shoulder armors attached to the main arm, but no, these are actually separate parts, like how a Master Grade would do it. So yeah, they are sometimes tricky to put it back in, but with the insides being a ball joint connection, we have a forward and backward movement going on here. And I can definitely tell they also try to reduce a lot of polycaps, because usually the main joint attaching the ball joints on the arms would be a polycap. In Gunpla, this one is a plastic piece. The only polycaps they use are ball jointed polycaps, which are used on the leg size area. So yeah, other than that, so we've seen this rotation. Now there is I'm going to have to take this off because this part is actually very stiff. So the lower arm can go 360 on its own like that, very stiff as I mentioned. And then you have a nice bend going on here, not exactly 90 degrees, because once again, for easier customization, they use all these C-clips. So with the C-clips, if you have another kit, maybe a Gunpla or a different kit that uses the same clips, then you can modify, swap parts very easily. So now I know some people don't like the C-clips because of their stability, but for customization, that's a whole different story. And then for the sorry about that. For the hands, we have a nice ball jointed hands going on here, and on the arms we have these shield guards. So the way how they're connected is pretty simple. They're on a single peg here. So here, there we go. So we have a single joint here that connects one to the arm and the other one to the arm guard. So you can pretty much reposition them as much as you want. And they have another hole here for more customization, and another hole here for more customization. And on the other side of the arm, we have more holes. So it's showing a lot of traces for customization. And then here we have the main body here. We have the chest. Nothing too special on the chest, except for those two holes here, which they do sell option parts. There are option parts where you can attach more stuff onto the main body and the chest armor. So those you have to buy separately. I'm not too sure if I'll be buying those, but depending on the situation, I might. But either way, let's take off the other backpack to show you guys better articulation range. So we have a very nice ab crunch going on here, very nice ab crunch, and then the body can go side to side like that, very nice. And then 360 twist should be possible. Yeah, nothing is blocking the way. We have these new, as I mentioned, these are not the original waist armor for the Alto, but we do get these new ones. They're pretty big and wide, but they don't really get in the way. They do tend to move a lot because they're so big and they're easy to touch, but still, no big deal. And then looking at the, so yeah, we have a single piece. So this single piece does actually make it up for the side, front, and back skirt. Now for the leg, so we have a nice side swivel going on here, and then we have this joint connection where we can reposition the legs if you want to do so. And then this is a little bit stiff, so I'm going to be slightly careful, but we can move to the side about 90 degrees. So very nice. Okay, I'm trying to reposition everything as possible. And then we can go to the front 90 degrees and back also 90 degrees if I can move it properly. And then bend wise, we get a nice bend going on here. I wouldn't say a big bend, but because of the design, but we get a good range of movement, and to the point where we have a separate knee arm movement. That's very good. And then feet wise, we have your ball jointed feet, but also they have another joint here to get a excellent pivot going on here. And the feet has become definitely bigger compared to the regular Alto feet. You can see it's become more chunkier, which I prefer, because I really do like large feet mechs, because large feet mechs should not have any problems when it comes to standing on their own. Now, unlike Gunpla kits, there's no toe bend or up and down, so that's pretty much it. But being a standard ball joint, you basically have enough movement. All right, so that's pretty much it for the basic articulation. So let me just reattach this. So regarding the weapon, as I mentioned, it's pretty simple, straightforward. You can just pretty much move the handle and then plug it into the hand and you're good to go with the bazooka. Okay, so I think we've done the basics with the actual mech. I'll be right back to demonstrate on how these tank treads work. There's two ways and something special regarding the Rory mechs. Okay, I'm back. So here is the first use of the tank tread. So number one, as I mentioned, you basically bring out those clips that you don't actually use on the kit itself, and then you basically on the tank treads front and back, we have these extra clips going on here. You can attach the clips here, and then there's another one that's behind the feet. There was another place where you can attach the clips, and then you basically connect those two tank treads together and you're good to go. There we go. So you have the tank treads on the feet. So basically it's giving you an extra boost where you can, so the mech can slide around the ground. And for the Rory unit, you can basically attach the head onto the main mech unit. Of course, the other way around, for example, you cannot attach the head onto the Rory spider legs, because once again, the head requires a ball joint connection. So yeah, it's still pretty interesting to see. So with this extra head, this alternative head, it does give out a so that kind of a drone look. So it's not really piloted by a human being, but piloted by a drone AI. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm not sure if I forgot to mention, but still you can move the arms to the side 90 degrees as well. So just in case, just use that for reference. But at this point, for those who buy these, you should expect those type of articulations. Okay, so on the manual, there's one more way to use these tank treads, which I personally find these a little bit weirder, but yeah, it's possible, and the design may seem silly, but I'll be right back with that design. Okay, I'm back. So here is that last way to use those tank treads according to the manual. So basically what you do is you have to detach the C-clips first of all. So you have to disassemble the C-clips on the legs and take off the lower legs here, and then take off the knee armors, and then reattach the C-clip joints onto the sides, and then you fold them 90 degrees. So basically what happens is that, so if the leg was attached here, basically you have to take off the back section here, detach the lower legs, and then reattach this point here, take off the knee armors that was in front, rotate this 90 degrees, and then there's a square peg there, a square hole there, and then you reattach it like that. So here we have, instead of actually having legs, we actually have tank treads as legs. So not the best design here, but still, hey, it works, and I'm pretty impressed that it actually works. And this is not something mentioned in the manual. I just did this, so I separated the two weapon parts and then reattached it to the backpack just to give it a more compact look going on here. And believe it or not, this thing is actually shown in the front box art right over here on the side, right over here. So yeah, it's something. Anyway, yeah, this was a pretty interesting and fun kit. I actually do want to get more at this point. Definitely more. There are more that are grabbing my attention, and definitely the third faction looks really interesting. And yeah, so there's just so many potential. There's so many ways you can customize. There's so many holes. The more kits you have, more option parts you got, the more you can do this. And if you have certain Gunpla kits like the Leo, the Geminas, I think it's called the first grade. Yeah, no, not first grade, but yeah, the recent RX-78 that uses the C-clip joints. You can totally modify these kits into a much more something, basically. And yeah, you can basically expect more 30-minute mission kits from my channel now. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the 30-minute mission Alto ground type. So, brown color. So if you guys got any questions or you question, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out. So please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.